Yeah, what's been happening in the world of gaming? Who bloody knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
We've both been on holiday, yeah. We have both been on holiday. And I did do a bunch of gaming as much as one can on a family holiday. I did actually do a bit of gaming, which was very, very pleasant indeed. I can talk about that. Shall I go first?
Yeah, yeah. Didn't you take one of your newer retro handheld devices?
I did. Yeah, I had a little debate as to what to take. So I ended up taking three consoles. I took the Switch 2 because it's new and it feels like, oh yeah, let's take the Switch 2 away and let's enjoy it as it's meant to be, at least 50% of the time, and let's actually play it handheld. Um, and I did a little bit of tinkering on that, not a huge amount. I'll talk about it in a minute. And then I also took the Retroid Pocket Mini version 2, which is my latest all singing, all dancing. And I was really, really looking forward to taking that away because I still feel I haven't given it enough time. So this was going to be a good opportunity. And because it's small and cute, and I felt like if I left it behind, it would probably cry into its little case, I took the. Oh, that's good, isn't it? I've just bigged it up and I've forgotten its name. The Miu Mini. I took the Miu Mini, not the Miu Mini Plus, but the Miu Mini Mini.
Ah,
Yeah, you can't leave that behind, can you?
no, no.
And the game I ended up playing the most all week was a little game that keen-eyed followers of ours will already know about, an NES title called Scat. Cybernetic. No. Cybernetic. No, hang on. Special Cybernetic Attack Team. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Very, very clunky. They should have kept with the UK. I don't know whether it's the UK title. It was Action in New York or the US title. Probably the US title. Action in New York is a kick-ass name for a game,
Yeah.
although it doesn't really do justice to the dystopian setting. Anyway, so as you know from my past review, I'd experienced this game before and was fairly blown away. So this was a good chance to try and really plow through it. And luckily, it only had, I think, like 6 levels. Was it 6? As a lot of old games did. Oh, that's interesting. Google has told me when asked the question, "Scat, how many levels?" Apparently, the school and college ability test, Scat, has 3 levels. Well, that's fantastic, Google. But we're talking video games here. This is meant to be AI. Does the AI not know that I play video games? Scat NES. Let's try that. 5 levels. That was it. 5 stages. So yeah, I was determined to beat this game
Yeah.
because it's brilliant and the music is amazing, and I wanted to experience all the music. And generally, I just wanted to feel smug about completing an NES game because I honestly think this is the first NES game I've ever completed in my life.
No way.
And I didn't have to abuse save states too much to do it. I did start to use save states because it was, you know what it's like, these old games, like you could be there forever. I'm sure with a bit of dedication it would be unnecessary, but I did use some save states. It gets very tricky in a couple of places late on that I think there's just certain chunks of each stage that, yeah, I've done that once. I eased my own guilt by telling myself if you use a save state, you have actually done it correctly. It just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's a little bit
You're
shit.
just helping yourself along a little bit, aren't you? It's not really cheating, is it? But
Yeah,
yeah.
if you took all the parts that I did correctly, that through time there is a flawless completion of the game. Um, and the bosses, they do a very. Did you play the game at all? Did you play it?
I
Have you?
haven't actually got around to playing. I saw your video and I say it's on my list to play. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you got to check
it
it
does
out.
look really.
So
Yeah.
there's very little that you do other than move. The only thing you really do is you're moving your fellow around, Arnie or Ripley, Ellen. Um, you press one of the buttons, and it makes you have like these two things that shoot off in you. You have the main direction of fire, and then you have these two things that fire off you in certain angles. And by leaving it going, it's kind of constantly tick-tocking backwards and forwards so that it fires around you. But if you want to lock them in place, you just press the button. So this is obviously where the bosses come into it, because first of all you encounter the boss and you think this is a nightmare, and then you realize you need to find the one space on the screen that you can't be hit by this
Right.
barrage
Okay.
of nonsense. And if you
Yeah.
get in that one spot and angle and press and stop your adjustable fire, if you get it at the right point, you can kind of cheekily hit it without getting hit, and you just sit there and you keep your button held down. And I like that. Like, don't make me tear my hair out trying to avoid all these a bullet hell. So yeah, got through it, and it was yeah really good. Felt great to have experienced it all. And yeah, just cemented my NES love really. My family didn't appreciate it for some reason. Their ears were deaf to the amazing soundtrack and just kept moaning like, "Oh, you're playing that game again with that annoying soundtrack. Bleep bleep. What are you listening? Are you listening to this? This is like NES Detroit techno. What are you on about?"
It's really good for NES, isn't it? Yeah, I was really impressed with the sound.
Yeah, very very good. So that was the thing that absorbed me the most on holiday. Um, Absolutely brilliant game. Played superbly on the Retroid. Retroid was like, oh, this is so nice. And I did play a few other little things. I went on a bit of a NES binge then, and just kept trying random things. And I found another game called Kickle Cubicle. Have you heard of Kickle
Now,
Cubicle?
I have heard of that. I am not convinced I've played it. And when I sort of looked it up, it kind of looked familiar, but I don't have any real kind of memory of playing it. But I definitely know that name. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon you'd enjoy this. I mean, it reminds me of a lot of things. It says in the blurb that it's a Lolo style, the Adventures of Lolo, and I haven't actually played that too much. I have booted it up a few times, but Kickle Cubicle, yeah, it's one of these things where you're on each stage is a set layout, and you have to collect all the tokens on a stage, and you do it by like conjuring like a block of ice, and you can shove it into enemies and cross paths on the water, and so it's like a little top-down puzzly thing, kind of thing that you just complete a stage, um, move on to the next one. Just quite fun to just keep going. And again, very cutesy, very nice presentation. Actually, it might have been the music in this game that was winding everyone up, because it was a little bit more um, typical video game music. I tell you what, it reminded me of that. What's that Lynx one that you're always on about that I tried and said, "Hey,
Oh,
that's quite good."
Chips Challenge.
Chips Challenge, yeah. It's got
Yeah.
a touch of the Chips Challenge with not as many mechanics and devices, but yeah, it's a similar thing. You're on a top-down grid, and you've got to find a way to get the things you need to without dying, and you can chuck an ice block into people, and yeah, very cool. Um, so I'm fully on board NES fan. I finished Scat, and I was suddenly thinking I wasted all my life, and I should have been collecting NES games. I should go and get a Nintendo Entertainment System tomorrow and buy and collect all the carts. I felt a little bit sad that I never really experienced these things on cart back in the day. Um,
No,
make
I didn't either really. A good friend of mine did own one, and he had a handful of games. And I do remember the first memory of the NES, and I'm going back, obviously, I'm going back a long time, but I remember at the time you could play it in boots. Upstairs in our local boots, they had the
rings a
Nintendo.
bell. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I played Duck Hunt in Boots on a demo.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And which is, it's kind of like a pharmacy and chemist, isn't it, Boots? It's not, I mean, they don't sell games anymore, but distinctly, yeah, back then you could play all sorts of things. But I remember crowds of people around the NES and playing things like, yeah, Mario Brothers and Turtles. And then I didn't have one at the time. I do remember going around, yeah, a friend's house and playing things like Mario 2, and a few kind of various shooters. It is a very good machine, and again, I don't give it a lot of attention. And again, it that's the beauty of being able to go back, isn't it? And certainly with having every single ROM to hand on these little devices. So I am probably due myself, sort of, yeah, going back and having a bit of an exploration, really. It is a good machine. Yeah, very ahead of its time.
Yeah, superb stuff.
Did you play any modern games? That's what I really want.
I
Going very
played,
granddaddy at the minute, which I'm all for.
yeah, well, yeah, Mr. Tech on holidays only really had the Switch 2, and
Mm.
I played a couple of rounds of Mario Kart World with my nieces on the telly, and that was all right. Did we play something else? Oh, and we played a very silly puzzle game. Puzzle game? There's a game that tends to be a crowd favorite when we get together. What's it called? It's the one where you have Tower of Babel. It's called.
Oh, I've played
You
that. Yeah, I've
played
got
that.
that.
You get the yeah. You
Yeah,
press one button and
yeah.
your thing drops and you're building a big tower and you've got to time it. And yeah, we played that in an attempt to get like a four-player bit of fun. Um, but other than that, I didn't play much Switch other than to go through some of the games in the Nintendo Switch Online offerings,
Mm,
specifically the NES one, because I noticed that Scat was in there in the NES games,
okay.
so I was quite curious, like, okay, how different is this going to be? And it was quite interesting because I think I don't know how they do their emulation. It is emulation they're doing, isn't it? But
Mm,
it felt a little bit snappier, and it pains me to say that because it's like I don't want I want to use my own device, you know. And maybe it was because I was using the stick actually to control the character rather than the D-pad. But it does play nice on the Nintendo Online stuff. But I don't like their I'm a big becoming a big fan of the CRT filters and things,
mm.
shaders to get that nice, slightly softened look. And their shaders are not very good, and there's only like choice of maybe two. Um, so I still prefer it. I think on your own handheld.
Yeah, and
I hadn't been
we
in there.
found that.
Hadn't been in there for a while, so I did have a good poke around. And
Yeah.
yeah, they've got they do. Nintendo knows their stuff. It's like what, of course they do. They know their own games. Um, but yeah, when I saw it in there, I was like, oh, they've got it in there. It, it's not that I've just discovered some hidden gem that no one knows about.
But
um,
they do retweet because I remember playing online stuff, particularly N64, and it looks great, but it is definitely doing some kind of sharpening or filtering, isn't it, to kind of bring it up. And when you compare, if you've got the original on the original system, it's sometimes hard to put your finger on it, but yeah, it's sometimes it does feel like games play slightly differently. But whether that's because you know you're on a Switch and it's just really super sharpening it and things, I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah, it is good. It is good. If that was all I had, um, if I was sensible and didn't buy a load of devices, then yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good way to go and experience them. The
mm,
only other thing I played on the Switch is a demo of a new RPG coming out. You know, I love my RPGs called The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales, which is a funny old title. Um, yeah, this is. I don't know if you know. Of course, you don't know. You're not Mr. Tech. Uh, what they call HD 2D uh,
no,
is a style. There's been a few games in the last few years um, that are kind of traditional JRPG in style, but they're done in a graphical system that they call HD 2D, where it's like retro 2D style, but in a slightly diorama-esque 3D rendering, and it's kind
okay,
of it looks amazing. Once they've churned out Square Enix have churned out like 4 or 5 games now in this style, and I'm a real sucker for it. They just look really beautiful.
yeah,
This game is it was shown in the recent Nintendo Direct, and I was immediately like, oh, that could be a game that I buy day one and regret, and because it pushes a load of things off the backlog. But they
hmm,
had a demo, so I played a bit of the demo on that to experience some new Switch games. So yeah, that was very good too.
hmm.
So that's my little gaming holiday moments. Very enjoyable. And alas, now I'm back. I haven't managed to maintain it, and I feel sad.
That's the problem, is it? It's great, and if you've got that dedicated time, and particularly with choices of handhelds, yeah, it can be a bit of a shock when you get back. Did you find any interesting kind of gaming shops on your travels at all?
Sadly, no. There is one shop. I went to Cornwall,
Yeah.
and we went to Falmouth, which, if you're into like hippie, not hippie clothes, but there's a lot of shops there, sort of knickknacks and things. Um, and I'll give it a shout out. What's it called? It was called Stan's Games in Falmouth. Shout out Stan's Games in Falmouth. Um, yeah, not cool little shop. Got a lot of board game stuff at the back and big rack of comics, which was cool, and some used games. Nothing I wanted to buy in there, but yes, nice to have a little poke in and see a shop that's obviously run with some love and well cared for. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's hard to find. Um, it's hard to find something to buy in these shops, isn't it? Because they're either, to be fair, they're either things you don't want or they're things that you'd love, but everyone else knows they're rare and they're really pricey.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there was one other shop, yeah, that I think I sent you a photo from in like a boutique, in like a mall in Falmouth, where there's loads of um, sort of yeah, sort of Camden Market esque section, and I
Mm.
found a shop in there that I didn't know exist, and they had quite a cool cabinet of old games, some old consoles and stuff, and I just enjoyed seeing all these things in the wild. So yeah, very cool. Right, that was my summer holiday
Sorry.
gaming. Let's take a quick break, and then you can tell me about yours, Mr. Tech. Bloody hell, I don't even know what I am anymore.
Do you?
Playing all these retro games.
I said you're morphing into Grandad. That's what's happening.
It was a lot of fun, I must say, playing these old games because perfect opportunity for it. You're quite busy with doing holiday activities, so but you get, moments in the day when you're waiting for people to get ready, or it's the evening.
Yeah,
You just boot the Retroid app again and just blast away on something. Um, yeah, it was cool. It gave me a an appreciation for the handheld and how amazing it is to have all the options on there and experience them. Oh, I played a little bit of what was it? Mm, Valkyrie Profile on the PlayStation 1 from 2000, which again I don't think you. That's another Square Enix JRPG type.
now I've heard the name, but yeah, not gone near the because there's a series, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah,
are series. Yeah, this one.
yeah, yeah,
I think this is the first one, and I've always wanted to play it and sink some time in. I found it cool because it comes from that very specific period of PlayStation history where the graphics were starting to evolve, but they hadn't really been able to move away from sprites for the characters, but they'd overlaid them on sort of static 3D renders. Do you know what I mean? So it's
okay, yeah,
slightly a bit like Final Fantasy VII on the PS1, but not the same style of characters. The characters in that are all done, weren't they, with like 3D polygons and things, so
yeah, yeah.
triangular hands and things. Looks a bit odd. This maintains nice sprite work for the characters, but yeah, it's all kind of overlaid on what are 3D renders made in something, but they're kind of static. So it looks a bit jarring today because it looks very obviously like you're just stuck on a background. But once you sort of get used to it, it lends it like a real charm, as a lot of these old games have for what it was doing. It's just neat, and I'm quite drawn to that period of PlayStation One games. There's nothing else really like it. Before the technology got another leap forward, but it had definitely started to depart from SNES era sort of
Mm.
stuff. Right, we're back. All right, so tell me about your holiday experience, Grandad. You had a nice break, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've had a good break. I've had lots of different sort of excursions, a blend of kind of family and yeah, going to other places with friends. So yeah, I have had quite good few weeks off. I started way back before my leave, trying to finalize the huge amount of games that I had and itemized. And I think last time we spoke, I had come across a really good app for kind of documenting all the games, which was the IGN app called Playlist. And then I came across something that could do consoles as well, because I've always been interested in how many consoles I've got. And as usual, I was quite surprised by the quantity. And we have put, if people haven't seen it, we have put a very brief short on our channel that kind of guides you through it. It's called, I think the idea is it's supposed to be game eyes, but it looks, sometimes it looks like gam eye, but it's GAMEYE. It's completely free. Um, it is important to say that Grandad and Mr Tech are not paid in any way for any promotional uh, apps or yeah anything that we discuss, but it has been really useful, particularly with a collection such as mine, which is growing out of hand by the day, to also store what consoles you have. And interestingly, it also gives you a rough idea of the value and it will put everything together so you can do games as well as consoles. And then right at the bottom, it'll give you a collection summary of what it thinks your games and consoles are worth. On top of that, it breaks it down by console. You can look at, for example, what SNES games you've got, what value they are. It's really helpful for me as well because, again, this is the problem of first world problem of larger collections is then when you're going out to shops and various kind of markets and trying to hunt down games, it's a really handy way of checking, do you already have the game? Because that's when I know that I've got quite a big collection, when I was sort of at one stage buying doubles of things because I couldn't actually get a handle on games, or not so much consoles, but games that I'd already got. Um, and as I say, we've done a brief short on this on our channel, but really good. And it shows it very visually. So I have been playing around with that. Um, and most worryingly, it currently says that I have 79 systems. Now, some of those systems are in my loft boxed and just appreciating in value, and that's more of a kind of um, collector in me, that they're just kind of preserved. But even I was a bit shocked as to how many consoles I actually owned. But yeah, it'll give you the values, and I don't know where it's pulling it from, or whether it's pulling it from multiple sources, but it will update regular. So it might, it'll tweak and alter by a certain value when you refresh it each day. But that was just before my kind of holiday, so I've completed that task of cataloging everything, and yeah, I've kind of been in and around lots of different places. I had a day trip in Birmingham, and I did come across. Now, I didn't pay, or um, I did go in and have a look at this place, but I found a place um, which seemed to be like an F1 themed bar
Ooh.
in Birmingham, but they had loads and loads of proper setup F1 simulators with, multi screens and force feedback and proper kind of seating and everything. And it looked really impressive. So maybe on another trip, that might be something that I kind of explore. What was it called? Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's called F1 Arcade in Birmingham. So it's a bar, but it's all themed F1. And as I say, you can sit in and you can kind of play the machines. It looked really interesting. And say that, I mean, it would help, wouldn't it, if you're really into F1? But there's lots and lots of, you know, machines and yeah, high tech screens. It was very Mr. Techie, I might say.
I'm having a look at it now. This is F1 Arcade London. It seems there's a few of these,
Yeah.
and I'm surprised I've never heard of it. It looks, now I don't want to be poo-pooing it too soon. It looks a little bit high gloss, doesn't it? Like,
Seemed very high gloss, and to be fair, when I stepped in, I just felt that immediately, and it's like, oh crumbs. Um, I'm not averse to F1 games, but yeah, I say I didn't explore any further, but it was very um plush and very kind of, yeah, high gloss. So
looks like it could be the kind of thing that's very pricey, as
yeah.
one so affiliated things tend to be. And also, there's a screenshot here of showing a very diverse uh, section of the demographic all laughing away playing it, and I can't help feeling if you walked in there now, it'd probably be full of sweaty men.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's true.
That, that was the other thing I noticed though. Yeah, there was no prices anyway. You had to go up to a very bespoke sort of desk area
Not
and
too pricey.
look like. Does it say the prices on there?
Well, something here is saying for a slim £200 you can have a drive and dine package.
200 quid. Bloody hell.
Yeah, this is what I was
Okay.
wondering. Like, if it's F1, they probably fleece you for every penny you've got. It's not like a
Yeah, it felt, as I say, it felt very much you had to go and have a bit of a discussion about what you wanted. There was no prices anywhere. There was not even food bar, but I couldn't see anything. Um, but that was the one kind of gamey thing I noticed in Birmingham. Um, and then I have spent a couple of nights in Leeds, and we went to um the arcade club in Leeds. Now, this is a kind of franchise. There's three of these. I've previously been to the Bury one in Manchester, and there is one in Blackpool, similar to the Liverpool one I was talking in the last pod, but this is a chain of three. But again, it's a multi-floored arcade experience. So, specializing very much in the old school proper arcades. Um, Again, you just pay one fee. It was only 18 quid, and you can free play everything all day long. And I must say, it was done exceptionally well. And in particular, there are slight differences in each one. So they have got slightly different machines. This one seemed very much to be very heavy on the big experience cabinets. So things like original Afterburner, Outrun 2, Space Harrier, Power Drift, all the big proper machines of the day with, proper rumble movement. So I very much targeted all that kind of stuff. The food and drink, again, very reasonable. You can have obviously soft drinks, alcohol. You can take alcohol through any of the floors, and it wasn't horrendous prices at all. So we pretty much spent, I think, a good 7 hours in there. The time absolutely flew because it's one of those things that, we thought, oh yeah, we'll spend a couple of hours in here, and we might get bored after lunch. I think we were there till 7 o'clock at night. They were literally putting the chairs up on the tables in the restaurant area, um, because it was that good. I mean, there was so much. I mean, it's really, if you go on the website, they will give you a snapshot of the machines they've got, but there was everything, and it was all, the proper original stuff. It wasn't just the games housed in a bog standard arcade cabinet. They'd gone to great lengths to get like the original Double Dragon cabinet with all the graphics around it, and there was, as I say, really unusual stuff. There was a few pinball machines, but yeah, they had a lot of big experience machines, which was really good to see. I mean, I spent a good 30-40 minutes on Afterburner. Incredible. 'Cause it was the proper sit-in one that
oh,
moves all
amazing.
around and really shakes you around and everything. It's
I want
fantastic.
to do that. Yeah. Do they have
Yeah.
G lock at all?
They did not have G-Lock. I was looking for that, but Afterburner was the next best thing.
Thunderblade.
They had Thunderblade, yeah. There was a whole Sega section where they had all those big machines. So yeah, they had Thunderblade, they had Starblade, which is quite a big machine. And yeah, Power Drift, Outrun, the Sega Rally. Yeah, really good. So highly recommended to anyone that wants to kind of relive that arcade element. Really friendly, everyone there is just there to have a good time. It was ran really well and with care, and you could tell that it was immaculate. There was lots of people going around tidying up all the time. Really helpful stuff. So yeah, fully recommend to visit. You will definitely just burn 7 or 8 hours in no time. There is some interesting stuff in Leeds. We did do a bit of a retro game hunt. Shout outs to a shop called Game Changer, which is hiding in one of the Leeds arcades and markets. Really friendly chap in there. We did get to a place called the Black Cat Club, which is a bit of an alternative kind of bar and
Sounds a bit
gaming.
spicy. Are you sure this is a?
I was gonna say this is all PC. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, it's not that kind of club. Um, Darts and shuffleboard, and
Oh,
now we're talking.
nice.
We didn't get around to the shuffleboard, but we did have an interactive darts experience. So darts, but also merging with a bit of tech. And yeah, it had like sensors on the dartboard. And obviously, when you threw the darts, it would interact with the screen in front of you. So you could do lots of different style of darts, variations of darts.
Yeah, I believe I've done this.
Oh, yeah.
I went on a work event, and it was a place that had ping pong tables and pool tables and stuff. And yeah, darts thing there where you could it would put you in a team and then it would show who's next. And the game we played, I think you had to someone would go first and then you had to match their score or something, or otherwise you'd be out, which kind of is the first person was useless. That was quite easy. But yeah, there was some cool stuff. That wasn't very high tech, but it was enough that it definitely
Mm.
added a bit of spice to it, made it good fun.
Yeah, yeah. And then we popped to a place called Riley's, and that was a big pool um the area that just opened basically. But again, they had interactive darts and darts on big projectors and everything. So if you're going to Leeds, as well as the arcade club, which isn't too far out of Leeds city centre, there is quite a lot of other gaming related things you can do. We didn't get around to there's a Pixel bar and there's an NQ64 bar, which is also a chain of retro themed and arcade bars, but they weren't open when we were there, unfortunately. Well, the Pixel bar wasn't. Um, but then I must say, on the way back, we did a bit of a detour and we visited for the second time I've been, but it has had quite a major revamp. Um, for anyone who is into retro gaming, you have to visit Doorway to Darkness. It's got a big following on YouTube, lots of high subscribe big name YouTubers have been there a lot, and a particular shout out to James and his staff there who let us film everywhere. We asked first, said that obviously we're doing this podcast. He's really amenable and he said, absolutely, and let us film the entire store. We have got a short on there at the minute, so look out for more videos around that because it it is incredible. He has gone to so much work and effort. It was great before, but it is so well laid out. I mean, there are thousands of games and consoles in that place,
Mm.
immaculately organized. It's well worth it, even if and caters for all budgets. You can find stuff in there from a few pounds up to thousands of pounds. So, and there's also lots of retro toys as well, and so there's just everything. It's a complete cavern, but yeah, and we managed to do that on the way back. And also a shout out to Games Temple and Console Portal, which is in the Penny Hill Shopping Centre. So yeah, we did quite a bit of touring on our way back from Leeds. So yeah, and I didn't spend too much. I just picked up a handful of PS3 3D games. I did not spend hundreds of pounds, thankfully.
Cool, cool, cool. Your hunt for every PS3 3D game ever made, yeah?
Kind of, but then do I really want to? Because when you like any kind of retro kind of game collection, it starts off quite relatively easy because you pick up all the £5 to £10 stuff, don't you? And then you realize there is a handful of items that are sitting at the 50 to £100 plus mark. So it's whether I will be that committed. There are only about 97 PS3 3D games, but yeah, there are some that are commanding quite considerable cash. But who knows? I'm up to about 34 now, I think.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Oh, and I had to buy a football game because it's in 3D. Can you believe that? I
No.
had to buy, had to, in inverted commas, Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 because it's got a 3D mode.
And you'll be sinking hours into that one, won't you?
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure you will. What's the is there like a well-known top game then in the PS3 3D? Is there something that's meant to be kind of leagues above the rest that's a standout, or is it not really that?
It's
Um,
just hard to find. There are lists and things like Motorstorm Apocalypse crop up, which I have got. The another game that comes up, which again is one of the more expensive ones, is called Puppeteer, which looks really interesting. But I think that is sitting around the kind of £50 type mark. There's lots of quite interesting looking games.
mm,
Um, And then, yeah, there's the more kind of standard stuff like you can get things like More Combat in 3D. You can get the Avatar game in 3D. Um, and I picked up again something I'd never heard of, a Disney game called Epic Mickey 2: The Power of Two, which seems to be
right.
mm, yeah, a bit of a kind of, I don't know, cutesy Tomb Raider type game, but with Mickey Mouse. I'm not quite sure, really, but it looked really intriguing and it was only a fiver, so
Apparently, the Batman Arkham Asylum game is a 3D.
I've got that. Yeah,
That's probably quite appealing. I like that game. I've played a bit of that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, an Uncharted 3.
Yeah, I've got that one as
Oh,
well.
that's got to be good.
Yeah, yeah. And like movies, yeah, I think that, some games in 3D are better than others, and it's how much time and dedication they've obviously gone to, um, rather than just, I don't know how they do it, but there's definite more care and attention with some of the games to make more immersive. Um, so yeah, so we got quite out and about this summer.
Yeah, amazing. I'm a little bit jealous because all of this stuff seems to be um, focused on the north of the country, and me being a
Yeah,
southern
yeah, yeah.
southern ponce, I can't easily get to much of this. I mean, there must be some in my area, but it does seem like it's heavily occupied in the north of the country. That's me again. I do that, make that noise every podcast. Um,
Yeah, it's like the arcade clubs, isn't it? So there's one, yeah, say in Bury, Manchester. There's one in Blackpool, and then there's the Liverpool Arcade Club. I found. I'm not aware of any more down south, but that's not to say that there may be.
I wonder if this is because from back in the day, arcades typically being found at seaside locations, maybe
Mm,
they all they were sitting in those locations and they've kind of been drawn in, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously there's seasides down south. And when I was a kid, I used to go to some, um, I can't think of the name of it now. What's the big seaside place we used to go? It's escaping me. And that's where I saw, Outrun and things. But
mm.
I wonder where those arcade machines have gone. I wonder who snapped them up.
That's what I was wondering. And interestingly, because we're having discussions about how there must be so much maintenance on these things, and they're actually, there was a job advertised that they need more arcade maintenance engineers at the Leeds place.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't recall seeing anything really out of action. When we went to the one in Bury, there was quite a few things like the Atari Star Wars that was on for a period, then it was off. I mean, these things must be quite intricate and need quite a bit of care
Yeah, for sure.
to maintain because they'll get absolute hammering, won't they, every single day, pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's quite surprising in a way that they can keep them running on a day-to-day basis,
Mm.
maintain them, because I imagine you can't go and get, you're not going to get parts for these things, are you? If they're custom cabinets and the likes of
No,
the afterburners and things, if a certain thing goes wrong on that, how do you fix it? Unless you're so incredibly knowledgeable that you can build some replacement part, or you can maybe
yeah,
even 3D print like bits. And I just imagine that all these things would be slowly deteriorating to the point that
yeah,
eventually they will all just go kaput. And once
yeah,
it's gone, because, well, how we get we can't fix that now without undue cost, and the cost of fixing it's probably not worth it. Like, time warp ahead 40 years, is
mm,
these arcade clubs going to be, you know prestige members only clubs, are like
yeah, yeah,
£1,000 a year memberships, and you have to like
yeah,
sign a document to say you're going to play it and not spill beer on it. And uh,
yeah, yeah. Fair point, isn't it? Because I mean, unless they're just buying up lots of broken cabinets and having spare parts, and but again, everything's finite, isn't it? There's only so many afterburner cabinets in the world, and all, particularly the big stuff. Yeah, and I say these clubs are so popular that they are getting constant use. So yeah,
did you see anyone disrespecting the machines?
I did not, and that's what we were really um pleased to see because as daft as it sounds, it was you could tell for there was people from all ages there. There was a lot of younger families, which was also good to see because that was clearly generations and younger generations did seem to be really enjoying the older machines, which really surprised us. But that that's like in a lot of um retro, it's but that was good to see. It wasn't just families dragging kids around. These kids were definitely enjoying the older machines. So no, we saw nothing like that. As I say, very well organized, just incredible collection of arcade and done really well in the sense of there was a room where it was all fighting games and they'd lined up all the Street Fighter arcades. They had all the Mortal Kombats, but they had them all in sequential order. That someone has gone to particular care to group
Yeah.
these machines rather than just sling them all together. And they had a whole room full of I think they're popular in Japan, that the kind of sit down candy caps they're called, the big kind of white machines with the huge CRTs, but you can sit down and kind of play them. There was a whole room filled with those.
Yeah, it's nice. Imagine the experience of most kids these days and the gaming they're exposed to. If they don't, especially if they don't have a console, you could grow up with gaming being this thing you do on your iPhone, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know what you're playing. Some awful cash grabbing thing, or maybe the um, ubiquitous Fortnite or something. And if you don't have a console that has a rare game with motion controls or VR or whatever, to have an arcade machine that's got something physical to it, whether it's a light gun or a wheel, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just the fact of it's hulking there with this big screen in it, must be quite appealing. I can imagine that being a real like wow factor. They're kind of retro
Yeah, and that was it.
ones,
Yeah.
but
That was the other thing. There's a whole room dedicated to gun games, and I was thinking of you because they had Operation Wolf, they had Operation Thunderbolt, they had everything that you could think of. They had again all in this room. There was a nod to tech. There was three huge screens, and I think they had a Switch. 2 and an Xbox and a PS5 hooked up, which interestingly weren't really getting that much attention, but they were there. And then they also had a VR section, which seemed to be playing Beat Saber.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds very good. So, in all your with all this traveling and trips, then have you actually found any time to have you done any home gaming, or are you?
Well, that's the thing now. It's like I really haven't, yeah, because as I say, it was quite in a good way, quite an intense few weeks, lots of zipping about and yeah, overnight stays and things. So I haven't really got my teeth into the PS3 3D games I got. I did pick up a handful of PSP games the other week, but sadly, I've not really got back into the groove of yeah, hunkering down and doing any home gaming. It's a bit of a culture shock. I'd say, obviously, going back to work and having all that kind of travels. Yeah, I'm not kind of back in that zone yet. Um, but yeah, hopefully by the next time we speak, I've started to get back into that.
I would be. It would be remiss of me not to ask. Then, how's the Zelda Link to the Past challenge going?
And yeah, I haven't touched that since getting the Master Sword, which I can't remember if I'd done that last time. But I haven't really moved on. So I've got yeah, the Master Sword, and that's going to start unlocking lots of other challenges. But yes, I have not touched that. So that is something I definitely need to restart because otherwise I am going to forget every single thing I'm supposed to be doing in it.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Similarly, I haven't played Zelda Breath of the Wild now for probably a month.
And here we go, you see. So you've got to keep up the challenge as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be a case of booting it up and wondering what on earth I was doing. That is true.
Yeah.
Um, should we talk about some other games, some modern stuff?
Yeah.
News? I don't know if you've got any news.
There was some news, wasn't there, of a modern old game that we were sent, if that counts. There's a He-Man game coming.
Oh yes, the He-Man beat 'em up.
He-Man Dragon Pearl of Destruction, a retro-inspired beat-'em-up video game. Were you into He-Man as a kid?
Well, to some degree, every kid was a kid when I was a kid, as in who is now my age. God, that's a funny way of saying yes, isn't it? He-Man was on the telly, and I definitely watched it and had it on. But I must say, I was never really that into it. There are other things that I preferred. I don't know what put me off. There was a kind of goofiness to He-Man that I never really sat with me. So I never really developed a fondness for the characters. This is going to sound horribly judgmental, but it might come down to He-Man's haircut, which uh, let's face it, I don't know. It's a little bit, yeah. The whole I have the power and Orko. I think it might maybe there's an Orko factor here as well because he was just too comedic. There was a lot of comedy, um,
Yeah.
man, wasn't there? So yeah, I never really had a passion for it. I would watch it, but I'd be thinking about watching something else. I'd much rather watch. Oh, here we go. See if I can drag this one out of the memory. Centurions. Did you ever watch Centurions?
Rings a bell, but I don't think I really watched that. No.
Centurions. No, that was me. That was the bunch of fellas all conveniently color coded like all these childhood animated things are, and um, they kind of have like bolt-on weapons and attachments on their bodysuit that sort of turns one. I mean, allows one to fly and whatever. And yeah, that was one of my favorites. I did love that.
Mm. I I do remember enjoying He-Man a lot, so much so that I remember running around my parents' house, using a ruler as a sword and pretending I was He-Man. It was that sad, and I remember having the toys and playing with them a lot. Um, Whether that is very different if I mean, I haven't returned to He-Man for a very long time, but it is interesting that this game is coming out from our friends Bitmap Bureau, who are also linked to that Terminator 2 game that's coming out, and previously the Xeno Crisis game that I always talk about. It's Bitmap Bureau, Mattel, and Limited Run Games that have announced this at Gamescom 2025.
Oh,
I think it's
modern
out
showcase.
next year, isn't it? This He-Man game. 12 levels, beat up the bad guys, call upon special abilities. Yeah, so it's going to be that nod to, I would imagine, old school walk on, beat 'em up, Street to Rage type stuff, Double Dragon, but obviously with the He-Man theme. So that, yeah, that could be good fun, or it could be terrible. Who knows?
Does look very good. I'm far more interested in the Terminator 2 game that they're dropping.
I am.
I,
Yeah,
I will probably be getting hold of that one way
yeah,
without too much delay. So
yeah.
that looks amazing.
I am very tempted by that, to be fair.
Well, it's noteworthy that we've talked about a side-scrolling beat 'em up because I have rediscovered that style of game a little bit
Oh,
myself
wow.
lately.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been playing before I went away. I was playing Ninja Saviors on the Switch 2, I believe I bought it for, which is like an improved remake of Ninja Warriors,
Yeah.
which, as again, keen listeners and followers of the channel will know I've reviewed in my own unique way. And yeah, Ninja Warriors was awesome when I discovered that, completely new to me. And doing a Mr Tech thing, I decided, okay, here's a modern reworking of it. Let's have that. Um, and yeah, this has been amazing experience. Really, really good. Um, I don't think it's necessary from a point of view of a remaster or a reworking. I mean, I think you could probably get as much pleasure out of the original, but they have done a great job of this, just polishing up a little bit. Some of the sprites for the baddies are a bit bigger. And I had a moment of revelation playing this where I'm level one. I'm doing the thing. I'm like bashing some buttons and okay, fair enough. This is quite good fun. And then I found it very hard to actually beat the first boss to the point.
Right.
Well, hang on a minute. This can't be that hard. What am I doing? And lo and behold, I discovered that if you actually take the time to learn the moves that your character can do, and
Yeah.
there's three different characters. There might be a fourth one hidden somewhere, and they all have very, very different move sets and styles of fighting. So I've been playing the kind of the lady one who's like a ninja-y, when they're all ninja-y things. Oh, I don't know what she's called. Because that's the one I played first when I played it on the SNES.
Yeah.
And yeah, I sunk enough time in this and started teaching myself the moves properly so that I could actually perform not just any move, but the move. But you choose your move for the right circumstances, um, including blocking. Blocking is very important in this game, and I suddenly felt like I got it. The penny had dropped with these side scrollings, and I suddenly had a moment of feeling very silly. Have I overlooked all of these? It's not
Uh,
that I didn't know about them and haven't enjoyed them, but I've never played. I must admit, I've never played things like Streets of Rage that seriously to the point where it's kind of like a no, no, no. You need to know what you're doing. You can't just like
Yeah, yeah.
faff around. I think one of the things that, and since playing this and having such a great time with it, I'm going to see if I can try and beat this at some point, which is proving a challenge. Definitely, I say the bosses. You need to understand them, and you need to understand what they're going to do and how to block what you can block and when to block and things. I went then and had a little rummage through um, to see what other modern, went straight for the modern. I was like, okay, what other currently known best sort of modern side scrollers? Because I really like this slightly glossed up version. And you had things like Streets of Rage 4, which I then discovered I actually already owned, so that was embarrassing.
See, there you go. That's what happens, isn't it? Big collections.
And I played a little bit of the recent Turtles one. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
you
Shredder's Revenge, is it?
Shredder's Revenge, yeah, which is again I think I also have a version of that on PS Plus that I can play. Um, and yeah, I had a really good time. Now there's one that I'm really keen to get. Now what was it called? Okay, so you've got the River City Girls and River City Girls 2, which are kind of female-led versions of spins on River City. Is it River City Ransom, the old one?
Yeah, that's it.
And again, I'd never really played that. Now, what was the one? Oh, this is going to bug me. There was one I discovered that's included on the list of modern side scrollers that had a kind of a slightly uh, futuristic but kind of cyberpunky vibe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and find it. Well, I'll let you talk in a minute. But yeah, heartily recommend Ninja Saviors if you like Ninja Warriors and you've got a modern console. I think it's on Switch, PlayStation, everything. Yeah, really nice, and I've been having a great time with that because I normally am there sinking more hours into some massive game.
Mm,
It's nice to blast this up and just
yeah, yeah.
but feel the benefit of getting better and actually understanding how to play these games. I think one of the key things I've just remembered I wanted to mention to you is why I like this so much is that you only move left and right. There's no
Mm,
up and down. One of the things that bugs me
yeah.
about the others is that if you're not quite on a level, like am I going to get hit or not? So
Yeah.
reduce that to just pure side scroll, and you only have to worry about going left and right and jumping. That's just perfect. That's like so good. Because it gives you the chance to have a fairly complicated move set in terms of a jump but with a backflip, and you retreat
Mm,
via something so you can get away from someone but fire and things, and
yeah.
yeah, so good. Great music, super super nice modern take on pixel graphics and honoring the original.
Yeah, I might look at that. I am a fan of, yeah, side-scrolling beat 'em ups. I did get that book, that huge book that I looked at for about 5 minutes and then was punched by Bitmap Books. Great. It's huge tome. It's everything is a really good, yeah, thorough, detailed book. Um, Strangely, that has reminded me of only one game I have played at home, which is not beat 'em up related, but I did. I don't know if you've played this, but it's absolutely bonkers. It's worth it just for the experience alone. It's called Space Giraffe, and I found it hiding on my Xbox because at some point in the past I must have purchased it and it was still available through Xbox 360. So it's Jeff Minter.
I was gonna say this isn't
Yeah,
into game, then I'm leaving because I know nothing.
yeah. It's. I mean, it's a real assault on the senses. It's trippy as anything. It's. I don't think you'd play it for more. I think we played it for about 2, 3 levels because it's just intense. But I did boot it up because again, I didn't even realize I kind of owned it until I was just rooting around my Xbox, and you can still down. I must have downloaded it at some point, and it was just sitting there ready to go. Quite an old game, yeah, 2007, um, on Xbox 360. Um, it's very Tempest related, even though Minter doesn't see it as that. If you've ever played Tempest X on,
Yes, indeed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and you're just kind of controlling this giraffe, and it's just trippy. It's full color music. It's just, if you've got a big system, just pump it through that, and yeah. Um, after about, yeah, third or fourth level, it's like, yeah, that's enough. It's really hard to see what's going on sometimes. It's just
Yeah,
crazy.
I've had that experience with his games. There's
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called now, but there's one I think I've got that's PlayStation VR compatible, which
Oh, yeah. Is that Polybius?
hmm?
Is that
Oh
Polybius?
yes, yes, yes.
Ah,
Yeah, it's amazing, but also slightly. It's so crazy that it almost becomes unplayable. But
right.
I do admire the ambition and yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
into. I remembered the name in the other game. So this game is called Fight and Rage,
I've not heard of that.
which yeah, it's a modern take on the 2D beat 'em up. But I when I was researching modern variations, what appealed to me about this is it sounds like it's got some quite elaborate mechanics in it. So it's trying to be give you added layers. Yeah, it looks very cool. It's about a sort of 20 quid game. I'll probably be a cheapskate and wait for it to be a tenner. Just
Yeah, yeah.
because there's lots of things vying for your money. But yeah, if you take a look at the shots of this, ah, just like, oh, I want to play that. And then I watched some footage of it and just crazy stuff flying all over the screen. Like it looked like a really good way of um, doing a modern version of the old ones.
Yeah, yeah. So my roots very much started with Double Dragon, as we discussed on Pod One. So I've always, yeah, been a big fan of the genre, and so that it was great to. I always take the chance to play original Double Dragon arcade, which I did in Leeds. But yeah, that's where one of my best kind of memories from, certainly from the arcade period, was from not just that Double Dragon, and then things like Final Fight, absolute classics. Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Well, a couple of quick other mentions from me. I've also played um, again a modern retro-looking game called Astalon: Tears of the Earth, which is a Metroidvania type thing with the gimmick that you have three different characters and you can swap between them. They all have a slightly different weapon and ability. So you got your wizard fella that can shoot through certain walls. You have a nimble character that can do like a double jump. You've got like a sort of a heavy fighter character that deals a lot of damage but is a bit slower. And yeah, I was having a great time with this as well. Just for something just nails its look and feel so
Yeah, yeah.
well. And it's the graphics are gorgeous. I mean, I like Metroidvanias anyway, and all the little effects in the game kind of done with minimal flash, but just very pleasing. Almost a touch of ASMR about it. That the sound of certain things. I was hugely impressed. This is going to sound a bit nuts, but you you rest on certain screens in the game where there's like a bonfire,
Mhm.
and the soundtrack's pumping away. Really nice sort of retro-inspired soundtrack. And I noticed the very subtle thing that when you enter the room with the bonfire, the music kind of calms, and some of the layers in the sound in the score drop out because
Yeah.
because you're in a safe space and it's kind of you can chill now, you know? So it's like the same up tempo sort of action theme, but the minute you enter that room where there's a safe space, it kind of quietens and it's like, oh, you're safe. And I almost noticed it subliminally and I thought, hang on, is it like changing the music here? Because and as I went out and then I heard that it picked up and then went back in and went out and little touches like that. When you find it in a game, it's just one of those signs that for me says, okay, the developers of this really knew what they're doing and what they wanted to do. The little attention to detail uh,
Yeah.
is superb. And yeah, I got that in a sale, not really pricey game, but I'm going to try and get back to this because I was loving that, and it's got a gorgeous CRT filter on this as well that just slightly smushes these pixels, and it just looks yeah. CRT filters my newfound thing,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
and this weekend, I'm looking forward to playing a brand new game by the people that made Journey. I think we talked about this on I don't know which pod it was. One of the last pods where we'd both watched the gaming showcase of some variety. Can't even remember what that was. It was unveiled then. Sword of the Sea is called.
Mm.
Yeah, made by Giant Squid, who made Journey. So this is going to be another short game, I think. I think it's only like 3 hours or so. So it's one of those sort of experiential things that's I'm expecting it to look amazing, have lush sound, some plenty of moments that are kind of like wow, and just real spectacle moments as you skimming through this fantasy world on a sword that's like a surfboard or something. Um, so it's very obviously inspired by Journey as it would be, because made by the same people. If you'd ever played that, you'd look at this and go, "Oh, that looks a bit like Journey." It's like, well, yeah.
Mm.
Um, so if you like things like Limbo or Inside, those sort of
I'll
short,
play them. Yeah, yeah,
snappy sort of games that they you can finish them in a night. If you treat it like a long movie, you can do it.
yeah,
You just totally absorb in one game for 3 hours until you get to the end, and you kind of feel really lifted. So got high hopes for this. I'll report back.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I do like Limbo. I played a lot of Limbo. I have got Inside, but not really played much of it. But yeah, it looks amazing. And yeah, like you say, it's about kind of spending or planning an evening, saying, right, I'm just going to sit down and just play through it and just do it.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you like that kind of thing? Right, we're rapidly approaching the end of this podcast, I think. Well, I think that's probably everything we've got to talk about today, Grandad. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that we haven't touched upon?
No, no, I think we've covered our holiday retro experiences very well. So it's just a big thank you as always to all of our listeners. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled for various kind of YouTube shorts and videos which will be upcoming.
Yes. What undiscovered gems or crazy things are we going to find next? That's the question.
That is the question. So I have been Grandad, and you have been Mr.
I
Tech.
haven't missed a tech, although at times today
And maybe not today so much, I
I
might
was a
add.
little bit Grandad as well, I must admit. But I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go and play a bit of uh Hogwarts Legacy tonight, probably, which is a very new game. Well,
Oh, there we go.
probably about 5 years old now, but yeah, high gloss AAA Harry Potter game. I don't even like Harry Potter particularly, but I'm love it. I'm really enjoying the game. So, who thought that wanging your wand around and casting spells would be so much fun? But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
All right. I don't know what I'm going to play, but I do need to play something. I have got a stack of games in front of me. I'll pick one at random. Right. Okay. I need to go and play. How do we say this? Lumines. Lumines for the
Oh,
PSP.
I've never been quite sure how you say it. Lumins or lumin.
Lumines. Puzzle Fusion.
Yeah, that's good. I've got a version of that on the Switch. And
Okay.
I do like a music rhythm game. Yeah, you'll have a great time with that. Just so it's like listening to music and playing a game. What can go wrong?
Okay. That's what I should do. I should just randomly pick out of my various stacks and go off and play it. So there
Yeah.
you go. I'll do that.
PSP. PSP was that?
PSP.
Yeah. I look forward to hearing about that. Yeah, nice one. Cool. All right. I'll see. We'll see you all. We won't see you, but you know what I mean. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.